Hi, welcome to the Stuff of Time. Look, I don't make these videos to monetize or to run ads on your time. I'm here for one reason, to pursue deep, provocative questions that are too often oversimplified. If something here resonates, it makes you pause or see things a little differently, do consider liking the video or subscribing. It's simply a way of saying that this conversation matters. Let's get into today's question, something that has been a bit of a guiding principle for me. Something I truly believe shapes who we are, how we grow, how we connect with the world, and what really defines us intellectually. We often size people up by their degrees, achievements, eloquence, even by the books on their shelves. But in my experience, the most telling thing about a person, their mind, their depth, even their character, is what they ask. Not what they claim to know, not even what they say, but what they are curious about. What questions do they carry? So here is the deal. You are what you ask. We spend a lot of time judging people, even ourselves, based on the answers we give. What do you know? What do you believe? What are your opinions? But if you really want to get a read on someone, forget the answers for a minute. Just listen to their questions. I have always assessed people, especially in conversations, meetings, even interviews, by the questions they ask. I've always been a little wary of people who walk into the room armed only with answers and opinions. You know the type. They speak in full stops. They have got their minds made up about everything: religion, politics, life, love. They have memorized their truths and now they just want to distribute them. No curiosity, no questions, just certainty. And the problem is, certainty shuts the door. Curiosity opens it. Let me give you a practical example. Have you ever been in a room where someone, maybe a student, maybe a colleague, asks a question that shifts the whole conversation? You feel it. The air changes. People lean in. The speaker pauses, and you realize this person isn't just listening. They are seeing something. That is a person who is alive to the moment, awake to the possibilities, thinking not just reactively but generatively. That is a question that moves the needle, as questions always do in the sum of human knowledge. And those are the people I remember who strike me. Not the loudest, then not the most eloquent, the ones who ask most real questions. Well, if you already have all the answers, why would you ever ask another question? And if you stop asking questions, what happens? You stop learning, you stop growing, you stop adapting. In a world that is constantly shifting, being stuck with yesterday's answers is a recipe for stagnation. This kind of fixed mindset often comes with a subtle arrogance. It is the belief that I or we have figured it out. There's nothing more to learn. And frankly, that's just not how life works, is it? True intellectual humility, true wisdom, comes from recognizing the vastness of what you don't know and embracing the continuous journey of discovery that starts with a question. If you're not questioning, you're not thinking critically, and that can be a dangerous place to be for you and for those around you. So, if questions are so crucial, why are they often overlooked? Well, because we are often conditioned to prioritize knowing. But I'm telling you, from my perspective, asking an intelligent question is arguably the most important intellectual task a human being can undertake. It is the very spark of intellect. You can't solve a problem if you haven't clearly articulated the problem. And how do you articulate a problem? With a question. Why is this happening? How can we make this better? What if we tried it this way? Questions are the keys that unlock new doors of thought, new avenues for research, and new solutions. They force us to challenge our deepest assumptions, to look beyond the obvious, and to consider possibilities we hadn't imagined. Curiosity is baked into us. It is what makes us human. It is what drives us to explore, to innovate, to evolve. Every single leap forward in human history, every invention that changed our lives, every scientific breakthrough, every philosophical insight, it all began with curiosity. And a question, think about it. The person who first invented the wheel wasn't looking at a perfect solution. They were probably asking, how can I move these incredibly heavy things without breaking my back? The dream of flying wasn't an answer. It was a defiant, what if we could soar like birds? Modern medicine didn't start with a cure. It started with fundamental questions like, why do people get sick? And how can we heal them? Even social progress comes from questions. Is this fair? Is this just? Why are things this way, and how can we make them better for everyone? Let's think of the greatest thinkers of all time. We remember them, we study them, not because they had all the answers, but because they posed the most brilliant, the most pertinent, the most unsettling questions that still resonate today. Because here is the thing, remember this, answers change, they are fluid. As we keep asking the same questions, as we gather new data, as our understanding evolves, our answers become more refined, more nuanced, sometimes completely different. So I'll cite three intellectual giants among so many as an example. Take Einstein. He didn't just give us the theory of relativity. He asked questions that fundamentally challenged how we understood reality. What if you rode on a beam of light? Is gravity a force, or is it a curvature in the fabric of space-time? His answers revolutionized physics, and while those answers are still being explored and expanded upon with new discoveries like dark matter and quantum physics, his questions utterly redefined the universe for us. They still stand. They set the stage for all modern cosmology. Take Marx. His work was a profound inquiry into society, economics, and power. He asked questions like, why is there such vast inequality? How do economic systems shape human consciousness and social structures? His answers, like the theory of communism and historical materialism, led to massive global movements and debates. And while the practical application of his answers is still intensely debated and many of his predictions didn't pan out, the questions he posed about class, labor, and capitalism remain central to sociology, economics, and political science to this very day. Across the globe, every society, the richest from the richest to the poorest, from the most endowed to the least gifted, Marx's questions reshaped how we think about social justice, how we think about human society. Take Freud. He delved into the mysteries of the human mind, asking questions that were revolutionary for his time. What drives human behavior beyond our conscious awareness? How do our childhood experiences unconsciously shape our adult personalities? Now, his answers, like psychoanalysis, have been heavily critiqued. They have been refined and sometimes outright rejected by modern psychology. Yet his questions about the subconscious, about internal conflict, about the impact of early life, those questions fundamentally opened up the field of psychology and laid the groundwork for countless therapies and theories that came after him. Those questions still stand and continue to unleash other questions. There are many other examples of great people, Darwin, others. The genius of these people was not in having certain definitive answers. It was in speaking the first or most profound word that opened up the new fields of inquiry. They didn't just give us fish, they taught us how to ask the question that lead to better fishing. So if the greatest minds are defined by their questions, what does that say about you and me? It tells us that the quality of a person, their intellectual curiosity, their open-mindedness, their capacity for growth is deeply intertwined with the quality of the questions they ask. Are your questions narrow, self-serving, or based on assumptions? Or are they expansive, empathetic, and aimed at genuine understanding? Are you asking questions that seek to confirm your existing biases or questions that challenge you to learn and evolve? Your questions are a window into your mind, your values, and your true potential. They show whether you are building walls or opening doors. My message to you today is simple, but it's profound. Keep asking questions. Don't ever stop. I'll give you 5 tips to do it. Don't afraid to look foolish. The stupid question is often the one everyone else was afraid to ask, and it might just unlock a brilliant insight. Number 2, challenge assumptions, especially your own. Be your own devil's advocate. Ask why until you truly understand. Number 3, cultivate your inner child. Remember how kids constantly ask why. We lose that as adults. Reclaim it. Number 4, ask what if. This is where creativity lives, where innovation is born. And finally, practice active listening. Often the best questions arise not from what you want to say, but from truly hearing what someone else is saying. It is incredibly liberating to realize that you don't need to have all the answers. The power isn't in knowing everything, but in having the courage and curiosity to keep seeking. The journey of asking questions is the journey of living a more engaged, more thoughtful, more compassionate, and ultimately a more fulfilling life. Don't be afraid to question anything. Not your culture, not your upbringing, not your religion, not your assumptions, not even your heroes. Because the moment you stop questioning is the moment you stop evolving. And questioning isn't the opposite of faith or loyalty or tradition. It is the engine of all of them. Every tradition that is worth its salt began with a profound question. Start a conversation, spark a debate, reflect alone, but don't stop asking. The world doesn't need more certainty. It needs more curiosity, more awe, more thinking that begins with why, what if, how might we, how can I? So ask boldly, ask deeply, because in the end, you're not your resume, you're not your followers, you're not your grades, you are what you ask. Think about it. Learn to ask. Inculcate the habit of asking intelligently, deeply, with perspicuity, with purpose. Think about it, and we'll meet the next time. Take care. Thank you.